Alright.
There's a yellow button. We're on.
Okay, hello. Welcome to another episode of 430 CTZ. I've got my co-host Peter William here and special guest Eric Fisher. We've got an exciting podcast, not really planned out, but I think we're going to touch on some interesting topics. So I like to start with the news. I've got several news topics here. So, um, let's see. Okay, so this is an interesting one. So there's a United States senator running for Senate. He's not a senator yet, sorry, in Florida, and he's running as a libertarian, and his name is Augustus Sol Invictus. Which is inspired by some Roman terminology. I think it means like the sun god or something like that. But what makes this guy, well, what got him in the news was he admitted to sacrificing and drinking the blood of a goat.
Oh no.
Um,
That's like that's part of his campaign, or
no, it's not. I don't think it's part of his campaign, but it's part of his religion. So,
so he's like an open Satanist, or is that kind
no,
of where?
no, he's not a Satanist. He's a Thelemite, which is there. It's like got ties to Aleister Crowley and like ceremonial magic, and it's kind of an Illuminati thing, actually.
Just a very like basically an occult, or like a secret society kind of type of. That
Yes,
sounds very occult. Like yeah.
yes. So you know magical rituals and whatnot. Um, and so as part of this, as part of his ritual, he walked from Florida to the Mojave Desert, and then
Wow.
killed a goat and drank its blood, and dedicated it to the spirit of the god of the wilderness. Um,
I feel like if that guy were like going for the president of Russia, he would be. I feel like people would vote for him. Maybe not so in America.
So in America,
well,
in America, they vote for the goat.
What's that?
In America, they vote for the goat.
They vote for the. That's true. It's right. Right.
so there, he's obviously a controversial figure. I just want to, not only is he has he been called a fascist and a neo-Nazi, supporting eugenics, former member of the Ordo Templi Orientis. I just want to read you. He wants to start a second civil war, but right from the man's mouth, I just want to give you this guy's platform. I do not want you to vote so much as I want you to wake up. I want you to drop out and tune in. I want you to take LSD and practice sorcery. I want you to listen to trap metal and black metal, and to learn the law and break it deliberately, to find your own religion. I want you to learn the use of firearms and subject yourself to rigorous physical training. I want you to treat your bodies as holy
Interesting.
temples and take your girlfriend to a strip club so you can seduce a dancer in the back room. I want you to worship nature and dance naked in the moonlight round the fire, screaming in ecstatic joy. I want you to revolt, break your limitations, renounce your life, and go into the wilderness that God may speak to you of things to come.
Interesting.
So,
Huh.
not
Wow.
exactly sure what's going on in Florida, but
Wait,
That's
was that his platform, or was that like an invitation to Burning Man? 'Cause I wasn't sure.
I think it could probably be either one.
yeah.
He said something about going to the desert and doing weird things.
I
So,
know, right? I thought he was gonna say, yeah, he's gonna follow it up with, oh, and by the way, I'm selling tickets for half off from Burning Man. I just bought a
right.
bunch, and I have them reserved.
I mean, I kind of like the spirit of it, minus the like neo-Nazi and like
Mine is like
eugenic side of it.
eating the goat. But well, that just shows your strength. Is shows pure strength. But no, I have something that.
Sure-footed, man. Okay.
What's that?
Those goats are sure-footed. They're not just any goat.
Yeah, you gotta catch them too. You gotta run after them. I don't know. There's a whole lot of there's a whole skill set involved in catching a goat. So,
All
but
kinds of things, all kinds of things come out of Florida.
this is true.
Just,
Pete, did that trigger something for you?
It did kind of because I had a
figure something about your childhood, Pete.
yes.
What emotions?
It really yeah. A couple these tears are just
You
know
can
just,
cry.
so my dad, I mean John McCaffrey, he's so he's another guy that's running for president who Duncan talked about last show.
Oh, you're talking about McAfee?
Oh, McAfee, yeah, sorry. I always call it McCaffrey. For some reason, I always saw an L. The E, that second E was like an L, so I always.
So the McAfee antivirus guy.
So the McAfee antivirus guy is running for president as well, and I just found a random article online, and it says he says his argument he's all for like Duncan said last time, he's all for basically his argument is that the next big type of like terrorist attack would be one that would involve computers or technology. You know, it would be a technological kind of shitstorm. So that's his whole thing, is that like we're not like protected against that, and then our government can't like protect us because the technology isn't there for that, or they don't have the intelligence for that, basically. So that's his like argument. But he said that. In this article, he said that a 10-year-old with he claims that a 10-year-old with internet access could acquire an EMP and destroy entire cities. So basically, he was talking about this. Have you guys heard of EMPs before?
No.
That sounds like I mean, I've heard of him in the context of like a movie. I haven't heard of him like in real life.
Yeah, I mean,
is that a thing?
I haven't. It's a thing apparently, and they have this picture of it. It's kind of like this. It almost looks like a camera with this coil. This what am I thinking of? What's that like orangish colored metal? It's a coil. It's I'm trying to think what.
Copper.
Oh, duh. Thank you, copper. Copper. So that's copper wrapped around it, but it's called an electromagnetic pulse generator, such as. So this one, and basically it knocks out like technology,
So this guy now, the guy who did the virus software, is trying to run for president on this area.
Yeah, he basically wants to say that it's all about technology, and that he's got a very good perspective of that, and that's why you should vote for him.
So last show, if you missed it, which you might have, we talked about John McAfee, and basically his story is that, you know, he basically invented the field of antivirus software security. So he's like the security guru, basically. But he's also like an eccentric millionaire, and so he's gotten into a lot of trouble, and he'll pop up in the media from time to time. But I mean, he was on the run from from the Belizean government for several years, wanted on murder charges and whatnot. So it may be a long shot for president for McAfee, but he gets my support. I think he's. Oh, another thing so he's running the first all cyber campaign for president, and
what you're saying is there's this guy now who's trying to run for president, who is an eccentric, wealthy figure, worried about terrorist attack, thinking that America's weak, and getting up to tell everybody about how we got to build a firewall.
Well, I mean, he's like the most knowledgeable, software security guy, on the planet right now, or one of them, and
that doesn't mean he should be president. Have him be the head of the security of.
Well, that's where he gets his credit. I think that's where he's going for his credit. His credibility comes from that silly little thing that pops up in your brand new Dell when you open it up. You're like, God damn it, why is McAfee on here? But yeah, no, I don't. You gotta see his.
Well, I mean, so he's starting the cyber party, And there's several tenets of that I think that people could relate to. One, he wants to change, the copyright law, and change, to kind of reclassify internet piracy. He wants to have anonymous internet browsing. Obviously, a big concern of his is, what the NSA and other security agencies of the United States government do to spy on us. And then as Pete mentioned, right now, the next 9/11 could be, done through computers, and our government's not adequately protecting us. They're spending all their time spying on our emails and whatnot.
It's still not enough of a platform to run president.
Well, he is running for president, so you can't really argue that.
Oh, I'm not arguing that he is. Clearly he is. I'm just saying. It's a little bit absurd. But that's cool.
It takes on well with the.
And Donald Trump is not absurd?
No, I think there's a lot of that door kind of like opened, like when Trump got in there. That it's like Kanye's like, oh yeah, next time around, that's gonna be me, and then.
All of politics are absurd.
It's true. That's why I agree. Eric, did you have it? I know you. I don't think Duncan told you to prepare anything, but if you have anything off the top of your head that's news, feel free to share it. But otherwise, we have more stuff.
Oh man, I don't have something that's news, but I have something that's like general news. But we can do that.
Yeah. No, definitely. General news about like what is it about?
I had my first experience with artificial intelligence yesterday, and it really freaked me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Really?
Was not ready for it, yeah.
Wait, so you said it freaked you out?
Yeah. Yeah.
In a bad way, or just like, oh, that's new, that's really new to me, and that's new. Wow.
Well, it's a lot. It's the whole spectrum. So
yeah, right.
I'm contemplating it now because it's easy to read in theory about like what would happen with computers and change over time, and you read about all these different changes that happen very frequently, but to really have an emotional reaction to it, like an emotional experience with it, was a very, very interesting thing. Not theoretical, it's much more personal and much more intimate, so it sort of stirs up a lot of questions.
Right.
So, yeah.
So what exactly happened then? Like, what exactly were you interacting with?
I was introduced to somebody to have a meeting with about communities in the city, and I said, hello, let's meet up, and he said, cool, I'll have Clara set it up for us. And then she like emails me and she's like, hey Eric, hope you're doing well. Like, what days are you free this week to meet? And I'm like, oh, hey, I could do Tuesday or Wednesday. And she's like, oh, okay, how about Wednesday at this coffee place? Does that work for you? And I said, yeah, I'll do it at 4 o'clock. And she says, oh, did you mean 5:30? Because I can only do 4 and 5, or 4:30 and 5:30 or something. And I'm like, oh, sorry, 5:30. Like, let's do that. She's like, okay, cool. I set it up. It's on your calendar. Like, hope you have a lovely weekend. And I was like, yeah, one day I'll have maybe like a secretary that would be that nice. But it was a robot.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, she wasn't real. It wasn't real. I don't know what it was.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, because I take all my emails really personally.
Right.
All the noise. So, like, if I'm going to email with somebody, I'm like, okay, who's this person?
Right.
Never.
Right. Wait. So, did you know that going while you were doing it, or you found out afterwards?
I just found out like after I met the guy. He's like,
that's awesome.
Oh, you're a really nice secretary, and he's like, what? I was like, your secretary? She's really nice, and he's like, I don't have a secretary.
Oh, that's hilarious! Oh my god.
Robot.
That's crazy. That's really funny. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dang.
So that actually segs into a couple of topics that I wanted to talk about. Eric, I didn't mean to interrupt you. If you had anything else you want to chime in on that. So Facebook is launching a virtual assistant that sounds much like what you're talking about. It's going to be called Facebook M, and it's going to sit alongside the Facebook Messenger. And So we have Siri and Google now, but this is going to be a little more intelligent than that, and I think it's going to do stuff like setting up appointments, like you were saying. It's an AI that's trained and supervised by people, and it can actually complete tasks like purchase an item, get gifts delivered to your loved ones, book appointments, and so on. So Facebook's testing it right now. They don't have a launch date, but it's in the works. And so that made me think that so when these AIs come, which they will, it's going to change the way that we use the internet. So if I say right now, if I want to buy concert tickets, I go to the concert ticket website and buy the tickets. But in the future, if I just tell my AI assistant, hey, go buy me these concert tickets, then there's really no need for like the interface of the web as we know it. Like there wouldn't need to be
That's right.
that sort of intermediate website. It could be just data interacting with these virtual people.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about the future of UI being just messaging. Just the message UI, like a text message thread with everything in it. A lot of apps you really don't need the whole app for it. I mean, let's say you use Yelp and you're looking for restaurants in the area that are Italian and open now, not too expensive, and you want to check the menu. I mean, really, you could just ask it, like, hey, are there Italian restaurants nearby that are awesome? And they're like, here, I found 3. I'm like, oh, give me the menu on that one. Okay, cool. Can you make a reservation? Yeah, okay. 6 o'clock? All right, done. That already happens with Siri and like OpenTable and Yelp.
right.
Siri is like the whole app now. It just does that stuff. That's the phone.
Right.
Weird.
Cool. So this is what the internet's going to be like, guys. It's just going to be data and virtual people and then real people.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And then it'll get to the point where we can't tell the virtual people from the real people, which is my next story. So
yeah.
have you guys heard of the website Ashley Madison? This was in the news a while ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a scumbag website in a way, but for those of you that don't know, it's a website for married people to have affairs. And you not heard of this, Pete?
I didn't know that was a specific purpose of it, but that's an interesting approach.
So just kind of like if it's online, it deals with sex, it'll be there. So it just had to be there, right? So this dating site exists, and so there were a lot of people on this site, and the reason it was in the news is because it got hacked. And so all these email addresses were exposed and linked to the user accounts. And this was a big shitstorm a few weeks ago, or a month ago. And there were famous people that were showing up on this list that it's like, oh wow, really didn't want that data to be exposed. A friend of mine actually works as a like an interventionist, like they place ads on the website for like psychologists for like marriage counseling. It's kind of funny. But, so one person who is involved in this story, and this is what makes it interesting to me, is that so John McAfee, as we mentioned, was consulted when all these people's accounts lost their security. And so, he was talking to a lot of people whose passwords and email addresses had been breached. And what he found out was that they were all men. And so, looking deeper into this, we're realizing now that no one was actually getting laid on this website. What it was a bunch of guys, and there were bots setting up these fake profiles, fake female profiles, and then the guys were chatting with this, this AI bot and getting the experience of having an affair. And one of the common themes that came out was that these guys didn't actually want to have an affair; they just wanted to entertain the fantasy of doing that. So
that's really what the service is.
Do what?
That's really what the service is. It's like an AI.
It's an actual dating site.
So there are women on there too, as well.
There are women on there as
Okay.
well, but the ratio is like, 100 or 1,000
You
to
get a, you
1.
get a 50-50 chance.
Right. So there's enough real women on there that you might think it's real, but a lot of them are fake, or most of them are fake.
Okay.
So that's pretty surprising to me that, our chatbots have gotten good enough to where they can fool people who kind of want to be fooled anyways.
Oh yeah, no, we'll be having sex with robots for sure.
Whoa, Eric, I didn't say anybody was having sex with robots.
It always starts with talk, Duncan. It always starts with talk, and then it moves.
Have you guys seen the TV show Humans? It's it's a UK series. I don't know. I think they stream it here too. But it's basically the whole thing's about a world where we have human robots that are they're basically like our iPods or our iPhones. So replace iPhone with a human robot, and they're essentially like your personal slave then. And yeah, they have a scene where the guy, turns on the 18 and up program on his on his robot, and yeah, it's interesting how they bring those. Yeah, it's crazy. People are definitely going to be like having sex with their robots. That's like bizarre.
This ties with a lot of stuff happening with virtual reality, which.
Oh yeah. Virtual porn. Oh my god, that's going to be like.
So all we're waiting for now is the headset that can either. Well, probably more likely to beam directly into your neuroreceptors.
Ooh.
So that you can feel the sensation of touch without actually touching.
Oh, right.
Which they say is possible. So you mix
That would be
virtual reality visuals and hearing, and basically you're good to go.
Right. You're good. You're good to go. You don't need this world anymore.
Hook me up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Ready? Let's go to the virtual world.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What if it really makes for a much more peaceful society because all of the angry people out there get to have sex and then they just calm the fuck down?
Just calm the fuck down. That's it. Solution ultimately was sex. In the end, everyone just needed a little sex.
I mean, I think so.
It's.
I mean, isn't our civilization based on repressed sex drive? Like, sex drive channeled into, hey, let's build shit.
Yeah, it's all about repressed aggression, and their idea is to transmute it into progressive things, but it still needs to be satisfied. So.
Right. I mean, yeah, no, it's an interesting thing.
You really can't do your best work until you do your best work.
So true.
I've got one more dating story I want to throw you guys this way. Online dating. More
repressed sex.
Yes, exactly. Guantanamo prisoner accused of being Osama bin Laden's associate has a dating profile on Match.com, which says he is detained but ready to mingle.
Oh my gosh.
So
That's good. Humor's good.
So supposedly he
did not make
close to Osama. He's been detained since 2007. He hasn't faced a trial yet, and his lawyer was trying to humanize the guy a bit, and as part of that has set up a profile for him on Match.com, and detained but ready to mingle. He gets matches every day. When they, and he makes, he comments on social media to try and get himself out there and entertain the public. But so he says, what did he say? Oh, okay. So this is terrible news about Ashley Madison. Please remove my profile immediately. I'll stick with Match.com, even though you say it's for old people. There's no way I can do Tinder in here.
Wait, that's what they said that this guy
No,
said?
this is a letter from him. This is one of his unclassified documents.
It just not. I mean, it just really doesn't sound like someone that would. Sounds like a 13-year-old girl said that. Kind of.
Is that a real story?
Yes, yes, it is.
That's pretty bizarre, but it's.
So at the time they were trying to set up his profile, well, he didn't know what online dating was, and but he was fascinated by it, and so he asked his lawyer if he could set up a profile, and so they decided on Plenty of Fish and Match.com, but Plenty of Fish required too much classified information, date of birth, exact location, etc. So they went with Match.com.
A solid choice. Well, that's interesting. That's great that there's just such a great diversity on there. So, in other news, I actually have this. This is like this is the last thing that I have pretty much, but it's so the first. So Google they have this this Lunar X Prize contest where they will award the first independent space program that can make it to the moon. They'll award them with $20 million, and essentially
I think we already won that, like in the '60s.
well, this is with a private organization, like not government, like completely independently funded. So, anyways, so basically they had it set where by the end of this year, someone had to essentially commit to making or sign the agreement that they were going to do that they had the capability, they had the resources in order to do that by the end of 2017. And so there's this Israeli company called Space IL that actually just signed a contract with them. I think it was like just this week. That they would be able to make it to the moon and they would launch in the second half of 2017. So they have that one, and they have a couple other teams that probably, I think two other teams will, Moon Express and Astrobotic. Like both of these, teams are also looking to. They're looking to. I think what they're going to do is confirm that they will launch at the end of this year too, as well. So it's going to be interesting to have like all these different companies kind of launching up there. And then you got like SpaceX, you got Virgin Atlantic as well, and they have like they're going for like the kind of like short, efficient satellite trips, but not part of this. I don't think they were part of this contest, but kind of interesting, crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. there's the stuff about the Tesla cars and self-driving cars and.
Oh yeah, those are fun too. Yeah.
Our kids are gonna have it so different. I'm excited.
I know, right?
I'm terrified. I'm excited.
Yeah, I can tell, Eric. Just see it, like screaming down your face. We're gonna have like real life magic school buses. That's what the future's like.
I'm gonna go into your colon.
They're what? They're gonna what?
Don't get laughing. I'm gonna go into your colon in a magic school bus. We're gonna really.
You're gonna go into my colon.
Yeah, because.
Oh my gosh, that's right. You can do that.
We're gonna charge.
I forgot. It's like you can do the micro and the macro.
They shrink it down really small.
Yeah.
And they can.
Yeah. That was a good show. Duncan, did you have anything else, or Eric, do you have anything else that you any other news or anything?
No news.
One. Okay, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but so a study meta-analysis came out that's showing that children today report more anxiety than psychiatric patients in mental facilities in the 1950s.
Interesting.
I believe.
Which is kind of disturbing, and I think points to a couple of it points to a couple of trends. I think they were linking it to
technology.
Well, they said low social connectedness and high environmental threat.
Yes.
And so,
And the speed at which things happen.
so they said during this study, social connectedness decreases because of higher divorce rates, more people living alone, and a decline in trust in other people. So the author says many of these changes involve greater individualism, but there is a downside to this. Greater autonomy may lead to increased challenges and excitement, but it also leads to greater isolation from others, more threats to our body and mind, and thus higher levels of anxiety. Threats during the study period included violent crime, worries about nuclear war, and fear of diseases such as AIDS. So this was a little bit earlier than just now. But still pretty shocking. Like, what happened to America, guys? What happened to Leave It to Beaver and June Cleaver and
He left it to Beaver. Look what he did. God.
Right.
Fuck Beaver.
There is so I heard this story, and this was like, I want to say it was like a year back, but kind of a positive thing was like, you guys have heard of David Lynch, right?
The
director,
movie director.
Yeah. Yep. But he started this program for in California for a lot of kind of inner city schools, and schools are having a lot of issues with their students like paying attention and being focused. And he implemented this meditation, this transcendental meditation program. And they did all this research with it, and they found, and so they carried this on for like a whole school year. And it's still going and such, but they found like tremendous shifts in these students and how they're able to, like, they're tremendously more, like, I wish I had the stats on me, but they were just like, it was like ridiculous shifts in like these groups of children that definitely, you know, probably had a high rates of divorce in their family, or, you know, family issues, or poverty, high poverty levels, or just not good home environments. But they were tremendously affected by getting that space, like they do it like, I think it was like 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night. That was like during the school, so 40 minutes a day during the school day they would do this. But it's interesting how I think nowadays with technology, and especially with that being implemented in school, and schooling being like kind of a rigorous structure with itself. And then obviously the things that are happening outside of the school, you know, I think there's probably a lot of kids that don't have that time to just be by themselves and chill and not have anything that's like distorting their consciousness, just like having that like clear space to just like be, you know. I think I think that needs to be implemented more. If I had to say so, I would say it's necessary, because I think we're forgetting about that necessary time that you need to have by yourself, alone to yourself, just in silence, just feeling yourself, you know. But
so
just feeling.
I'm alone, silence in your room, in your bed, feeling yourself.
Yeah, just like that. Just like that.
Time, right? Actually, it's tonight, isn't it? Tonight's the night. Oh, you're ever gonna have a good time.
Tonight's the night for what?
Your Wednesday ritual, feeling yourself. Mine's Thursday, so I'm excited for tomorrow.
I actually do 2 days. I do 2 days a week.
Artificial intelligence for that. So.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 3:30 p.m.
Coming to you live. Literally coming to you.
So now that we've gotten news out of the way, Eric, is it okay if I ask you a couple questions just for our audience here, so they can kind of get a sense of this mysterious man?
Throw in the trivia.
Who is Eric Fisher?
Going deep into the psyche. Woo!
Just a man, Duncan. A great man, but man, nonetheless. He bleeds like the rest of us, and he cries and has hopes and fears.
So humble, so humble.
Yeah.
So you know, to touch on the spirituality topic that's part of this podcast, I think a big part of any spirituality, like Pete was, mentioning earlier, is about being in the moment and not being distracted. So either being present with your, thoughts and feelings, or being present with another person.
Yeah.
And one of the best ways of being in the moment that I've found has been through this practice of improv acting. So I think that's definitely something that we could talk about. Eric, what was your introduction to improv acting?
Um, I started doing it a very long time ago at camp. I like to do theater stuff. I hate scripts, so that made sense. Um, and yeah, I just have been doing it on and off since then. Gotten a lot better at it. I enjoy it more now. Kind of awesome. But it requires a lot of skills that a lot of people, including myself in the early days, did not have. And it's really interesting because you can get a real sense of a person by how they do it, their own improv. You can sort of figure out everything about them by how they do their improv. So it's a really cool way for me, at least, to get to like see people and understand them better, so we can play.
What are some of those skills? Have you identified specific skills that it takes to be a good improviser?
I have, Duncan. I call them the four cornerstones of improv. We used to have three, but then this really brilliant guy came up with the fourth one. Really brilliant and attractive guy who does some kind of podcast somewhere. I
Oh, who could that be?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So the four cornerstones are trust, presence, agreement, and enthusiasm. And those are the kind of things you need just to be a person interacting with people.
Trust, presence, agreement, and enthusiasm.
Yes. More
Okay.
specifically, trust is like give the person the benefit of the doubt from the get-go. Just throw the trust in there. Let it be innocent until proven guilty. Basically, I feel like a lot of people come into situations and they already have the whole thing judged and they've already made their stereotype in their mind of who they're with. You have to like put that aside and just be like, okay, I could be wrong. I'm just gonna hold it over there. What's up? That's one.
And improv isn't an especially risky environment. I mean, you kind of create a safe, trusting space with the other people that
It's necessary,
they're
yeah.
not gonna let you fall.
That's the first one that needs to be done. So obviously there's a variety of games you can play to start, but the idea is everybody feels like, okay, I feel at peace, I feel comfortable, these guys seem like they're fun, I'm open to this, which is the most important thing to begin with in there. So
Okay. So trust, and what was the second one?
second one is presence, and the presence is don't have preconceived notions of what to say or what to do or where the scene is going or what's happening. Just be ready to act when it comes to you. Take a breather. Be calm. Don't get riled up. Don't get freaked out. Just take it in. Give it a second. So that's a lot of like breathing and like being comfortable within your own skin, calming yourself down. I mean, that's the whole like mindfulness meditation yoga stuff.
Right. You already, the two that you just read off there, that you just riddled off there, are just like core. I feel like they're core foundations to like living your life in
For
general.
sure.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I always, it just always blows my mind. Like, what? It's literally like improv is literally the manual for life in a sense. It's, or at least the guideline. It's not a manual because
It's guidelines, though. It's a structured form of regular socialization.
right, yes, exactly.
But yeah, I find that practicing presence in general with people allows for far less miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of reacting, you're just like, oh, okay, you said that. What did you mean? Did you mean this? Oh, okay. Did this. Okay, now I can respond to you. I have not reacted based on whatever I thought it was supposed to be.
Right, and it's insane how, I guess the more you do improv, the more you realize that you do not. At least for me, this is my experience, is that like that I'm a shitty listener. That I'm like such a shitty listener. Like I don't listen, or at least it's like so hard. I guess it can be hard to like admit to yourself that you suck at like being aware of your environment. It's kind of sometimes for me at least.
Well, Pete, how old are you? 26, right?
Just turned 27.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like listening is one of those things that comes as you get older and more self-confident, because when you're young, especially if you're young and enthusiastic, which
Oh, right.
you are / there are people, right? You really want to express yourself like more.
Just wait till the world beats
Right,
that
right.
enthusiasm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know, right?
The world will beat it out of you as it has
Yeah.
done to me. So it's okay. So anyway, the third one now is agreement, which of course everybody knows that's the one everybody talks about. Just always agree and move to the next level of the conversation. Don't detract, don't say no, don't be negative, don't
Right.
take energy from it, just like add to it. Which a lot of people have trouble with because they like to be in control and stick to rigid plans, and they also don't know how to adapt to change, so you get to see a lot of friction on that stage as well.
Right.
And they don't even know they're doing it half the time. Then they start to notice they're doing it in regular life. It doesn't work.
Yes, definitely. I think it has a, I saw improv as a very, a healing tool in a sense, because you can really get a good understanding of where your, I guess your faults are, where your, I think a lot of it's blockages, at least for me. I've noticed like a lot of like, this is where I'm not like, I'm having trouble expressing myself like on the improv stage right now, and it's like, I've noticed connections within myself and been like, wow, I need to work on that part. Like there's something in there I need to like, kind of understand more about myself. Which is what's keeping me from really just expressing myself on stage here and not really caring about what other people are saying or what's happening or like trying to control it, the experience in a sense. But
Yeah, if you're open to discovering things about yourself and you do improv, you can find all kinds of things. And you really shouldn't feel bad about yourself because you can fix them.
Right. I recently, Duncan, you should. I think I've shown you this book. I've shown you my manual before, right? The UCB manual. I think I showed you it, right?
I remember watching the some of the improv on YouTube. I think
Okay.
it's familiar to me. Yes.
Eric, have you heard of the Upright Citizens Brigade?
Heard of it? It's down the street from where I live in the city.
Shit, you live there. So Eric lives there. That's sick. So they have this really awesome manual that I just started reading, and they break down improv in an interesting way, which is a lot different than the way that I've been learning. But they focus on, there's still basics that they teach you, but like they do it in a different way. But so basically, when you're starting an improv scene, there's the who, what, and where that you need to establish as quickly as possible.
Right.
And it's I find it really interesting that it's kind of cool how let's see, where was I getting with that? So there's okay, actually this is where I was getting at before I go to that other topic. I was going somewhere else. So you have the who, what, where that you need to establish. You need to understand. We're in a house. We're in a kitchen. This other person's my wife, and we're cooking eggs. Like, you got to figure out what that is. And so with UCB, they say establish that, and then look for the first unusual thing that pops up. And once you find that unusual thing, you have to ground that. So you have this base reality of the who, what, and where. And when something unusual pops up, you have to observe it and essentially first acknowledge it by someone saying, hey, that's like really odd. That's like a really weird part of this reality. And while the other person kind of amplifies that weird thing that's happening. But I think what that process right there of like just like creating a grounded reality and then noticing the first weird thing that appears, I think that also has to do with our reality in terms of being in terms of your utilizing your creative potential or your kind of inventive spirit or your I think it's a similar way if you can just kind of like be grounded and just observe like that unusual thing that's kind of coming up for you and just like kind of tend to it and kind of let it grow while keeping this grounded perspective of it. I think that's a similar way to how you like innovate and create things in your real life. So improv is like a really kind of interesting perspective of how, at least from my perspective, how creativity can flourish out of nothing, how something that was unexpected can become something that's bigger, which you inevitably play a game off of, and that's the third part, is playing the game of it. What's that?
Yeah, that's good. I like it.
But yeah, so those are my random thoughts about improv.
Nice. Well, part four of the chain is enthusiasm, which Duncan originally characterized as like, what did you say, like be yourself? In a way? Is that what you said?
I think I said be a character.
Be a character, yeah. Which I obviously, given that I'm making the four cornerstones of words, I needed to have like a word. And enthusiasm sounds like the best word for me because it's also like the main philosophy of just how I try to live day to day, just with enthusiasm. I love the word. Do you guys know what the word means, where it came from? To break it down into its components and figure it out.
Meaning within. Thus.
Yeah, what?
To thus.
What is thus?
Thus rhymes with Zeus.
Which rhymes with obtuse. It's similar. It's God. It's Theos.
So inside God.
And is with. So it's actually with God inside is what enthusiasm is.
That's cool. Wow. That's
and
pretty awesome.
If you define God by like love or whatever, then it's like the same idea.
Enthusiastic Eric. There it is.
Right. Exactly, Eric.
Exactly.
Yeah, but so enthusiasm, it means that when you go for something, when it's your turn to interact in any way, you really, really got to be enthusiastic. You got to sell it. You can't yeah, you can't just do like prehistoric Pete. You got to like do the whole thing. Prehistoric, you know? Yeah. So that's another area that people are not so good at, and that's really more of a self-conscious thing, different than the other ones. It's like this.
So I feel like somewhere along the line, you know, as we're kids, kids tend to have a lot of enthusiasm, and then somewhere along the line, we're told like, no, you don't want to show that, or like you want to tamp it down and like be cool, and like what's this weird social conditioning that gets like put into us to like not be enthusiastic? I feel like it's our default.
Enthusiasm is scary to people.
Yeah, you have to like put yourself out there a little bit. You gotta be. There's confidence I think enthusiasm does match up to confidence in some way.
Yeah, it does. It is very much related. Although I have to say, when I was in middle school and elementary school, I was pretty enthusiastic. Kids told
You're a little drama queen.
But then the kids are mean to you.
Well, they were mean.
Enthusiastic.
They were mean to me, and so I like actually decided to like not do that anymore. And then like it just got covered up for like the rest of.
I think that's how it is for a lot of people, and it's like really sad. Like we're just living in this like weird world of like programmed robots walking around like not showing our feelings and not saying what we really think.
Ironic then that we're talking about robots taking over because they have.
They already have.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's.
But like improv, it kind of opens up a space for you to be in your creativity, as Pete was saying. So that's kind of a remedy for the malady of.
It's a good zone.
Yeah,
it's a good zone. If you're at improv and you don't feel good, then either some other people are not helping the situation, and or your own issues are coming into play.
Right. It's honestly really, it's really difficult. It's almost impossible for me, at least, to do improv when I'm not like, when I'm feeling like down or low energy, because it kind of like just requires you to like choose to have high energy. Like you have to. It's like no, you're either in it or you're not in it. Like it's like so that enthusiasm is kind of expected, which is cool. But I also wanted to say too, one of my teachers was saying that he's like you got to look at your improv scene like this infinite looping energy, this infinitely looping energy, and all the energy that you're putting into it is the energy that you're ultimately getting back. So if you're putting in shitty energy, you're gonna get shitty energy back. You know, if you're not supplying it with energy, it's not gonna, like, the scene's going to crash and crumble because there just isn't anything to move off of, which I always found fascinating.
So that reminded me of an anecdote that I think relates well to this. And Eric, we found out that Pete and my birthdays actually fell on the same day, or they're on the same day.
So crazy.
So we had a combined birthday celebration.
You have the same birthday?
Literally the same birthday. Isn't that messed up? That's like.
Well, not the same year, but the same day.
Yeah, same day though. Yeah, still, it's like September 2nd.
September 2nd. No. Cool.
So so that so we had this birthday bash, and we were hanging out with friends from improv, and so we went out and did karaoke. And normally I might be kind of self-conscious about getting up on stage and singing karaoke, but the group of people that I was with, like Pete, like you were saying, we were bouncing that positive energy back, and it just kind of like locked in this positivity, and then it was like, wait a second, everything's fine. So then I didn't have to worry about anything else, and it was like none of the other environment that normally might have like bothered me just didn't at all. So
did you have a good time?
I did have a good time.
Yeah. Well, that's great. See, now you got a good circle of people that are giving you positive vibes. The group is very important. We're not having a lot of group things in society anymore. It's very like disconnected in terms of like my friend group and his friend group and her friend group, but there's no like group where you're like, oh, we're all in it. We're tribe.
Yeah. Right. There's I was gonna say there's this definite like I've noticed it in myself having like I'm kind of the type of person that has like intense kind of group experiences, like I'm involved in like a group and I'm like around a lot of people all the time kind of a thing, or I'm like in a space where I'm like not around like anyone. And when you're not around anyone for a long period of time, you definitely start to realize how important that is, and that it has to be kind of like it has to be daily, like or at least weekly, I guess I would say. You have to have that like reconnection with groups of people. But yeah, it's just kind of like it's like part of the human psychology. It's like a necessary like thing, just like sleep.
We need each other.
We do. I need you guys. I need you.
It's true. That's the last line of my social design talks, is how all we have is each other. It's Carl Sagan.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
That's a beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
Well, hey, thank you guys so much for being on the show today. I really enjoyed sharing perspectives on the world. So Eric, take care. Pete, I'll see you soon. So,
see you later, guys.
Signing off.
Good night.
All right, bye.